All right, Shalom. Before I start, going to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, or Chakurash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, Wa Akwath, learning, teaching in truth and sincerity. Another video through the Spirit. Your brother Malak from GMS Detroit, and I'm gonna let this play. I'm gonna be letting him doing a lot of talking. You can see from the title, the world you were born into is ending. And what he essentially the point of his video was showing you how we're living in the time of America falling out of its superpower status, the same way that ancient Rome fell, and there was birth pains, right? Hiccups, financial issues at home, issues abroad, war, right? Issues between men and women, right? We are re-experiencing the collapse of the empire today in our modern lives. You read, in the books of old, especially, you read in the scriptures, right? You'll see things break out in between verses, but you have to understand that in between these verses was years and decades and centuries in certain instances. So we get to watch this place fall live time. And although it may be inconvenient, it is a very necessary evil, y'all. And you're not gonna grow old here with grays on your face, in the year 2185. This empire is falling rapidly. And the only ones who can't see it are the absolute blind fools drunk off the Babylonian juice. This place is falling right in front of us, y'all. We are witnessing it live time. That's why everything is going crazy and downhill in society. They panic, but we love it. All right, let me get one scripture to start it off, and then we're gonna get going. Hey, Babylon is fallen, and there's nothing that anyone can do to help it. Getting Edomite birth rates up isn't gonna fix it, right? Stopping gun violence isn't gonna fix it. Fixing education for the young, none of these are answers. Babylon is through. Jeremiah, yep, 51 and 8. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. And this didn't happen upon ancient Babylon. This is dealing with the modern day Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, which we know as America today. How do we know? Because this is repeated in the book of Revelation, hundreds of years later. So this great Babylon, we're finally about to witness fall in dramatic fashion. We're here, y'all. Hey, let's go back and let it play. The America is through. America will never climb back to its former state. These Edomites will never climb back to their former estate. It's going downhill for them rapidly. Damn it, let's go.
We're born into. The one where America runs everything, the only world that almost every person alive has ever known, is ending. Not in your grandkids' lifetime, right now, this year, on camera. And this summer, it got undeniable enough that the internet gave the era its name.
It's ending right now in your lifetime, not your children's, not your grandchildren. He said it himself. It's ending right now in our lifetimes. What manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Come on.
I am refugee from American century of humiliation. Where can I get an iced Americano around these parts?
And, this is a meme, somebody, having to learn, because you have the saying, right? You have Moab and, Russian Edomites. They believe that they'll be the next world superpowers. We know scripturally that's not going to happen. At this place, we'd all be speaking Mandarin Chinese, right? If the Moabites had their way next. That obviously that's not going to happen. But what we're going through right now, they're calling it the American century of humiliation, right? World War One, The purpose of World War I was for getting the dollar right, making it the getting it to the level that it had to be right. That's why you had the Federal Reserve get created. Was that 1913 or 14? Excuse me. Jekyll Island. After the Titanic sunk, you had that dude, that rich motherfucker, right? World War II, helping get Amalek in the land, making America acquired the nuclear capabilities, right, making it a world power. The 50s, its glory days. 69, right, things started going downhill. 70s disco era, 80s crack hits, 90s R&B, gangster rap. America's gone. America had a good rise, and now it's having a hard fall. And now in today's world, what you see, simp cucks, uh, uh, only thoughts, a whole century of humiliation, right? America, they lost that Vietnam War. This, hey, America ain't doing so hot.
That post has over 1 million views and has birthed a whole new genre of post for looking at the state of the US right now. So, what has actually earned the name American Century of Humiliation? Here's just one example: New York Harbor, July 4th, 2026. 48 tall ships from 20 nations, 40 plus warships at anchor, over 100 aircraft overhead, Blue Angels out front, somewhere between 6 and 10 million people along 15 miles of waterfront, depending upon which press release you read. Say what you want about empires, they know how to throw a party. The Navy billed it as a celebration of maritime heritage. Well, this is the same government, just last month, quote unquote, ending its war with Iran. At a dinner table in the Palace of Versailles, a venue you book for exactly one kind of treaty.
The Treaty of Versailles. Hey, do y'all remember that? In which he's talking about the actual place, but that goes back to World War I, right? So hey, everything's connected, man. This dude, he was speaking some prophetic things, and he didn't even realize it.
Quote ending, as I record this, has already unended, but we're gonna get there. This nonsense in New York, as well as the empty Great American State Fair, the UFC fight on the White House lawn, and whatever other Comedy of Errors event happens next, totals up to the most expensive birthday party in history. What I'm here to say is that it's also a wake.
Yep, it's a wake. The big wave that's coming to crash down. And we weren't the only ones calling this place out. That UFC at the White House was a joke. The fact that they hosted that there shows you that this place is in full down the toilet drainage. Hosting an event like that at such an important building with all these critical things going on. This bitch is a bubble that's about to burst. Everyone can. I'll say the halfway smart ones can see it, but the fools still can't.
This is the last hurrah of the American Empire, which has dominated the globe for over half a century. And me, I'm watching all of it from the other side of the longest undefended border in the world, which means I have
The land of what? Unwalled villages, like it tells us in Ezekiel. All these things are culminating. They're all connected. It was all prophecy. It's all from the scriptures first. He said this is the longest that an unwalled country has been able to have control in the world, y'all. The land of unwalled villages, like it tells us in Ezekiel.
the perfect vantage point to watch the Colossus fall and really just hope that we aren't crushed when it does. Fair warning, that sounds like several minutes of doom. And it isn't, because when an empire falls, it drops everything it was carrying: the money, the industry, the attention, and somebody gets to pick all of that up.
I'm going to just get this real quick. Job 20:4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Esau had his time. Now he is in the time of decline. His empire is going to shit from every angle. Money, relationships, infrastructure. The only last good thing these devils have going is their ability to destroy, which he's going to make mention of. America still can absolutely destroy you, if they choose to bomb you out. Now, the soldiers is weak as hell. The soldiers are a bunch of trannies and pussies, but if they just say fucking and start hitting buttons, You know, they can blow your shit up. Outside of that, y'all, everything's gone. Motherfuckers ain't smart here. The food's a bunch of GMOs. This man, his window is closed on him. All right. Job 20:6. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever, like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? So he was once the shit. He was once the best thing going, and now he's fallen into he is falling before our eyes into obscurity. And after his 1,000 years of servitude in the kingdom, he'll be completely abolished, and it's going to be great. He'll be wiped out. We are witnessing his fall live time. That's why you get scriptures like this. And I'll come back and let him talk. Matthew. Yep. Luke. Excuse me. Okay. Luke 10:18. Yep. And we know the scripture, right? No, any kingdom, no kingdom divided against itself can stand, right? Luke 10:18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven, right? And this isn't dealing with the literal demon Satan lose a war in hell, and he fell down. It's no, or excuse me, lose a war in heaven and fall into hell. No, this is the wicked are falling out of power rapidly. The way that lightning hits the ground, you blink and it's there and it's gone. That's how the wicked are losing their power. Come on.
By the end of this video, that somebody is everything it was carrying, the money, all, and really just hope that we aren't crushed when it does. Fair warning, that sounds like several minutes of doom. And it isn't, because when an empire falls, it drops everything it was carrying, the money, the industry, the attention, and somebody gets to pick all of that up. By the end of this video, that somebody is you.
The Israelites, we're going to pick up after this man falls. 2 Esdras 6:9. Y'all, he's speaking in the spirit and he don't even know. You're right. There's somebody when an empire falls, the people remain to pick it up. The question is, who is going to pick up after the collapse of Esau? Who is prophesied to pick up? What do the scriptures say? Let's go get it, and we'll come back and let him talk. Excuse me, y'all. Hey, I was watching this, man. It just got me so hyped up. Come on, man. He don't even know he's speaking in the spirit. 2 Esdras 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So the Israelites pick up under Yahushai. We pick up after Esau falls.
So, since it's out of most people's living memory, let's talk about what to expect when you're expecting the end of an empire. How do we live with it? And what do we do to pick up and move on? But first, Iran, and why I consider that piece of paper at Versailles the beginning of the end. As I record this, America is bombing Iran again. Yesterday, at a NATO summit, Trump declared the ceasefire over, in his words. Iran had hit 3 tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. answered with strikes on somewhere between 80 and 90 targets, depending upon who's counting, and slapped its oil sanctions right back on. Iran fired back at targets that set off air raid alerts in Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Oil jumped 4% in a day, and about 6,000 sailors are currently stuck floating around the strait, waiting for 2 governments to stop shooting long enough to let them go home. So you might reasonably ask why I'm about to spend a whole section of this script on a ceasefire that just died. Well, here's why. Because I wrote this before that happened, but the more accurate way is that 3 weeks before it died, 2 weeks before the tall ships started sailing into New York Harbor for the big, July 4th celebration, the President of the United States signed a piece of paper at a dinner table in Versailles, a deal that gave itself 60 days to negotiate a final peace.
And just real quick, he's mentioning Versailles, literally, right, in France as of recently, but we know that prophetically, right, the Book of Revelation. After World War I, you had the Treaty of Versailles, which, the Treaty of Versailles after World War I, the peace agreements, and then you had the Treaty of Rome after World War II. Yep. Treaty of Versailles was a peace agreement signed on June 28th, 1919 that officially ended World War One between Germany and Allied powers. And then we'll get Treaty of Rome, which was after World War II. Yep, which spawned the beast, right? The ten heads says the Treaty of Rome was signed on March 25th, 1957, creating the European Economic Community. It says it was signed by Belgium, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and West Germany. All right, and those are some of the original 10 heads, which would spawn into now over 20 some, right? Literally the start of the beast, y'all. It's all interconnected. This man has been able to reign for a time, but that time is up. And now the reason why this guy is mentioning, let me just jump here real quick. Okay. The reason why oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. 9, 10, and 10. The reason why this guy is mentioning Rome and how that's significant, essentially, America started this war with Iran. Back in the day, they would have been able to smash them out quickly. The fact that Iran is still giving them resistance goes to show you that America is losing its power. Although America can still fuck you up, right? But it's losing its power. That's the whole point of him mentioning it.
Peace. Final peace that lasted 21 days, but a confession doesn't stop being true because the guy who signed it tore it up afterwards. In this little page and a half, the Memorandum of Understanding, may it rest in peace, is probably the most damning confession that the American Empire has produced.
Right here, Isaiah 14 and 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up their thrones from all the kings of the nations. So the heathens are ready to go to war with the beast and the whore. That's the whole point of him mentioning this. The nations are ready to fight now. They're no longer scared like they were in 1945 after you dropped the atomic bomb. They themselves now have nuclear capability, and they are ready and willing to tear America's ass up in return. That spirit of fear has changed and shifted, and now what? Now you have America through foolish actions. They've lost allies, and soon it's going to result in full blown war. And the heathen nations, they gonna give it their all, baby, and they're gonna tear this mug up. Verse 10, it says, "All they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee." So these nations now realize that this place is no longer the great mighty power that it was, and now is their best chance to make war and to burn this bitch, which they are prophesied to do. Even in James it tells you. God damn it. Eat her the rich man is gonna get burned. It tells you that in James the 5th chapter, man. Your silver and your gold is cankered, and the rust of them shall be. Man, let me get it, man. Even James saw the prophecy. Come on now. James 5 and 3. Your silver and your gold is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. This place is going to be destroyed in thermonuclear fire, right, and chariot fire. This is the prophecy, and it's been said aforetime for our learning. And now we are physically seeing the manifestation. We're seeing, retard Trump up there playing his role to help garner that hatred. They had if y'all remember a while back when they was at the summit, the meeting, he speed walks his way up to the front and, shoulder shucks his way past people. Man, they didn't like that. And although he's playing a character, right, he's doing what the elites tell him to do, them motherfuckers didn't like that, bro. It's all being put together right in front of us. We're watching the end take place. All the necessary steps.
in my lifetime.
So now I'm gonna jump to something that I wanted out of 9 minutes, and then 10 minutes. That would be about it.
They could not.
Honesty has always been our policy.
Damn it!
But the choir's new.
Come on, Phil.
Refresh the everyday with Mentos gum.
It's the ruling. America can still destroy anything on this planet, but Empire's own
Yep, and that much is true. You know, America does still have its power to destroy, but that's all they've got. Money gone, everybody fags, food bad, air bad, water bad, clothes bad, music bad, sex bad, kids bad, education bad. Only thing they do got is some fucking bombs out this bitch. That's it. But that's not gonna be able to save this place.
start writing its obituary. You don't need me to say it. So the point is, America can still destroy anything on this planet, but we learned here that it can control almost nothing. And if you think to this week's return to bombing disproves that, well, ask yourself what the first 10 weeks of bombing bought. A page and a half. You can't unsign a confession by burning the paper. That sentence about destroying and controlling should give you deja vu, because 70 years ago, another empire won a short, sharp war over a strategic waterway and learned the exact same lesson. 1956, the Suez Canal. You know it as the place where the big boat got stuck. Before the boat, its job was moving a huge chunk of the world trade through a ditch in the desert. In 1956, it got a big empire stuck instead. Egypt elected a new president, Gamal Abdel Nasser, who nationalized the canal, the artery carrying 2/3 of Europe's oil, after the U.S.
And that name should sound familiar. Why? Because he's the guy who said what? We will never have peace in the Middle East because the Jews left black and came back white. Hey, that's, the ambassador sent among the heathen, right? Declaring war on this place. And that's an Obadiah. And the apostles, they don't mention him as much as they used to, but he was mentioned heavily back in the day because he was one of the first motherfuckers to stand up against this bitch back in the 1950s. He didn't care about them nukes. He was a fool, but he he was one of the first heathens to stand up against Esau. Let me do this. Nasser. Gabdul Nasser. Okay, Abdul, yep. Gamal Abdel Nasser. Right there. The famous from 1918 to 1970. Right? And then this is his famous picture. How to remember the godfather of the Arabs. That's probably his name, right? Exactly, he was an Ishmaelite. Although he was a president over Egypt, he's an Ishmaelite, right? Because the Ishmaelites took over Egypt after the Islamic conquest, right? Back in the AD eras, right? The hundreds. I forget the name of the leader who rolled in there, but this has been a long, once again, prophecy, baby. This has been a long time coming, and now we're about to see this shit pop off. So let's come back. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get that quote from him. Jews left black and came back white. Let's do that. Jews. Yep. When he was asked about peace in the Middle East, the late president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, stated, "The Jews will never be able to live here in peace because they left here black but came back white." Bingo. Amalek, right? He's referring to Amalek. So, yeah. Take that and do what you will with it.
Britain yanked the funding for his big dam project. Britain, in their minds, the ruling empire of the day could not accept this. Not for economic reasons. Egypt actually offered compensation. The canal was...
So, back at that old canal, Britain tried to take it, end up losing, right? We're seeing the same thing similar with America in the Strait of Hormuz, and it's not going their way. And whether or not it's for show or not, it doesn't matter. We know that war is going to pop off in the valley of Jehoshaphat, as scriptures describe to us in the book of Joel. So it's all good. This place is set to fall. This is a whole hour long video. He's just making a lot of good points. We ain't gonna be here for the whole hour. Nonetheless, y'all, the writing is on the wall. Mene, mene, tekel, Israel. And I changed it for, hey, the original phrase is Mene, mene, tekel, upharsin, referring to the Persian Medes. But now it's Mene, mene, tekel, Israel. Mene, thy kingdom. Matter of fact, I'll just read it. And we'll end on this one. The remix. We're going to end on the remix. Daniel 5:26. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, Yahweh hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and found wanting. Meaning, with old money, right? Let's say if I came to you with some gold coins and said they're gold, they're supposed to weigh 20 pounds. I put them on the scale. They're only weighing 10. That's how you know that ain't real gold in there. I've given you a false metal, right? America, this is a false place. The American dream is dead. It's an illusion. Its days are numbered and it's crumbling. Pedes, right? The kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. And today, Israel, Yasharallah. The kingdom is divided and will be given to the Israelites. That's how this all wraps up, baby. And if you can't see it, the Holy Spirit just ain't dealing with you. So that's it, man. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachakorash, the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect. Akim Wa Akwath, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom.